Well, I'd like to thank Bev Ortiz and all the people who help to make these events the successes that they are every year. And thank Malcolm Margolin and all of the staff at Heyday for helping to make my book a reality. Heyday Books is one of the most respected presses in the West, and I feel honored to be there. I'm going to read, I think, about 5 poems. The book is full of all kinds of things, but these are poems about people. And they're people that were important to me as I grew up, and people that were even before my time. The first one is called Blues for Juanito. No amenities but cheap wine and those fits of weeping. The distempered wet look of some dog and the black cast stove picked up red hot with a couple of burlap sacks, thrown smoking on the truck when they moved you to the corn crib shack. Son of old Manuel, far down on the ladder of the children, it was always you and your brother and the drunks from town in beaten old cars that limped through the summer dust and shimmered in the heat near the river. When you died on county sheets of TB and too much wine, no more the soiled blanket, the broken cot crying to yellow heaven in the heat, the few windows cracked, the lantern too cracked, and remaining the tin shack, the bad sawhorse leaning, and the white alder dead in the blackberry vines like bone. The second poem is called Bert's Wake. I recall your face shining. You were fierce that day behind the old John Deere on the tongue of that man-killing scraper. Too young to help, I trailed you through the dust, heard you grunt each time you threw your body on the iron, heard the cut sound the earth made, the hard chuck of stones, and the wheeze of lung muscle held against the live ground. 40 years of plowing near that hog fence laid a hill you moved in a day. Your work shirt stuck to your black rubber neck, sweating wine. Alejandro. The close, dark grain of this antique chair, built about the time you were born, holds for a moment your face and its lines, entwining like the years in my grandfather's field, a transient memory of you. Your walk, distinctive and measured along the road for wine and supper, looking, as they all said, like a bear's in the shade of live oak. You worked with the best of them, and had times been different, you might not have labored for wages. You might have had children. Your signature practiced as a youth more beautiful than my own. Your untutored thoughts all those years like the breathing of the oaks, the plummet and rustle of an acorn in a green, quiet place. This poem is called In the Water Over Stones. It is for my great-aunt Isabel Meadows, who was certainly among the most influential elders bringing Ohlone culture into the 20th century. Your voice, Isabel, is a quail's voice as the sun's song ticks in the brush. It is the hawk's voice and the heart's heat of the rabbit in the parched summer grass. Nearby in the river, in the water over stones, it is a willow voice. It is a crayfish voice in the hollows, in the darkening places. At first light, it is the wind's voice, the mouth of the river Tule voice, the voice of 100 breezes. The sun marks out the red madrone, and in the canyons it is a redwood voice, a sycamore voice, sweet-scented. In the spring it is the lupin voice, a blue, white, and purple coverlet voice, all over the hills and the meadows. On the riverbanks as the set fires burn and the steelhead run, it is the hunter's voice, flinging the gleamers silver on the sand. Though the houses of rich men now cover these hills, it is your spirit voice, your evening voice, your voice of the western waters. The stars hang out over the point of wolves. On the edge of the world, the sea lions call, the otters break open abalone. It is the voice of the land. It is the voice of bright shells. It is the voice of the valley and the mountain, Isabel. It is the voice of the people, too. It is the weaver's voice. It is the young girl's voice, the gatherers and the singers and the farmer's voice, the wives and the children's and the old woman's voice. It is the Indian voice and the whalerman's voice and the voice of the servant escaping. It is the voice of your face across the years, Isabel, in my grandfather's face, in my father's face, and in my face as well. It is the voice of the ones on the edges, Isabel. It is the voice of those ones with no voices. Hawk and rabbit, quail and brush, water and willow and crayfish and stone, wind in the canyons, daylight through limbs, the lupin, the steelhead, the cook fire's call, beans and tortillas, your memories, Isabel, talking to us all. Thank you. This poem was written for Linda Yamani, the tribal scholar of the Ohlone, and also a magnificent basket weaver. And I've seen her construct the Thule boats that are probably currently sailing around out there. Reweaving the world, Ohlone. And meshing with bone all, with curved tooth, with dreaming, again living patience, the slow walk and choosing, the arms and the fingers of plants, the bent branches, the willow, the cattail, the root, the crisp grasses, the green limb, the gold stem, the soft flesh, the cleansing, the sheer thought, the taut hand, the earth's whirling music, in your palm, in your lap, in your sphere, in your circle, this basket, this dance upon the ground. I'm going to finish with a poem about Point Lobos down in the Monterey area. Our silence sings. We are the ones born on this crescent of rock and water, born of this light, friends of this sea, beneath these cool constellations. The wind in the pine boughs sings our song. In stillness we are listening here beneath the trees. We are native. We were born to rest among these stones. The roots and tongues, the quiet turned among these bones. Thank you all very much.